All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to get into it today?
Always ready.
Excellent. All right, so today we are diving into Born to Win by Zig Ziglar.
A classic.
Absolutely.
No.
And we got some insights, some other fun stuff we can bring into the mix today.
Sounds good.
I think we can really help unpack this together and pull out some of the big ideas for everybody listening.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to dig into here. You know, one of the things that really struck me about Ziglar is this idea that everybody has potential.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes that he doesn't just say like, oh yeah, success, think positive and it'll all come to you. He actually gives you like a plan, almost like a blueprint for building a winning life.
Yeah. And he does it in such a way that's so positive and motivational too. Like you really feel like you could achieve anything after listening to him.
Absolutely. And you know what you're saying about that plan? Like he breaks it down into these really actionable steps.
Yeah.
He doesn't just preach it, he practices it.
Yeah.
And he shows you how to do it too.
That's one of the things I love about him is that he's not just like, rah-rah motivation.
Right.
It's like, okay, there's actually something behind it. Here's how we get there.
Exactly.
Like one of the things we were talking about before we started recording was just that idea of desire.
Right. Yeah.
Like he doesn't just say like, oh, you got to want it. He really digs into the power of having somebody else believe in you.
Yes.
And how that kind of sparks that desire within you.
Yeah. It's like he says, success is often just someone else believing in you until you believe in yourself.
Right. And he uses his own life as an example. Like he talks about how somebody's belief in him ignited his own drive and then, really took him on that journey.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
And I think it's relatable too because we all have people in our lives who have believed in us.
Right.
Maybe even when we didn't believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. But then he goes even deeper than that. With the idea of desire. He talks about how this burning passion actually shapes your actions, even on a subconscious level.
Oh, yeah. That's where it gets really fascinating. You
Yeah.
know, it's like he's tapping into the psychology of success.
Yeah.
Like when you really, really want something, your mind starts to look for ways to make it happen.
Right.
You're more attuned to opportunities. You're more likely to take risks.
Yeah, it's like that whole, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Exactly.
Kind of idea. Like he really digs into that and shows you how to cultivate that I can mindset.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us to another big point, which is setting goals, right?
Right.
Like, have you ever used his wheel of life concept?
Oh, yeah. The Wheel of Life, it's a classic. It's so simple, but so effective.
I love that it's so visual.
Yes.
Like you can actually picture this wheel in your mind.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, just imagine, a wheel divided into 7 slices.
Yeah.
You've got physical, family, mental, financial, spiritual, and career.
I feel like that covers all the bases.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And Ziglar's point is that true success means having balance across all these areas.
Yeah, not just like focusing on one and letting everything else fall apart.
Exactly. A lot of people think success is just about money or career.
Mm-hmm.
But Ziglar's saying, no, you need to have your personal life in order, your family, your health, your spiritual side, it all works together.
Right. And so the wheel helps you figure out which areas need a little tune-up.
Right. Exactly. It gives you a starting point for your goal setting.
Yeah, because it's like you can look at the wheel and be like, okay,
right,
this one's looking a little flat.
This slice is a little deflated.
I got to pump some air into this one.
Exactly. And then he gives you his famous 7 steps for setting goals. And these are like super specific action-oriented steps.
He doesn't just say like, oh, set a goal and hope for the best.
No. He's like, write it down, make it measurable, set a deadline, identify the obstacles, find the resources you need.
Make a plan.
Get to work.
Yes, and he even uses examples from his own life and from the lives of others to illustrate each step.
Right.
Like I remember he talks about Gabriel who wanted to become a city manager.
Yeah.
And how he meticulously planned out his career path using those 7 steps.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Because it shows you that it really works.
Yeah. And it wasn't like an overnight success thing either.
No.
Like he took the time, he put in the effort, he followed the steps.
And he achieved his goal.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then there's the story of Vince who wanted to lose weight.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Vince?
Yeah.
And Ziglar encourages him to break down that big goal.
Right.
Into smaller, more manageable steps.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on losing, 100 pounds,
right,
Vince starts with just 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he builds momentum. He builds confidence.
And he sees results.
Exactly. And that keeps him going.
Yeah, I think that's something that's so important for all of us to remember, is that we don't have to do everything at once.
Right.
We can break it down into these smaller steps and celebrate those victories along the way.
Absolutely. And, speaking of victories, that takes us to one of my favorite Ziglarisms.
Okay.
Expecting to win.
Yes. Love this one.
He uses this brilliant analogy of professional bowlers.
Mm-hmm.
They do everything they can to prepare, right?
Right.
They choose the right ball, they practice their approach.
Right.
But once that ball leaves their hand,
they can't control it.
They can't control it.
Right.
But they can control everything leading up to that moment.
Exactly. And Ziglar's point is that we should focus on what we can control.
Yeah.
The preparation, the effort, the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a really important distinction between worrying, which is about fear and negativity.
Right.
And expecting, which is about confidence and belief in your abilities. Yeah, it's not just like blind faith, though, right?
Right.
It's like you've done the work.
You've put in the effort.
You've prepared.
And now you're expecting to see the results.
Yeah, like you're setting yourself up for success.
Exactly.
Almost like that self-fulfilling prophecy thing,
Right.
If you expect to succeed, you're more likely to take the actions that lead to success.
Exactly. Powerful stuff.
It is powerful stuff. And I think that's a really great place to kind of pause and reflect, because we've covered a lot of ground already, just in this first part of our deep dive.
Absolutely.
And there's so much more to unpack. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with more from Zig Ziglar's Born to Win.
Sounds good. It's almost like planting a seed. Like, if you believe it will grow, you're more likely to water it, give it sunlight, nurture it to its full potential.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great analogy, because it's not just about thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about actually taking action, aligning your actions with those expectations.
Exactly. And that's where his 6 principles connecting expectation, preparation, and results come in.
Yeah. So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
Right. You got to put in the work.
You got to back it up.
Got to walk the walk.
Exactly. And he talks about the dangers of negative self-talk, right? How it can really sabotage your efforts.
It's like a poison.
It is. It's like you're constantly putting yourself down,
Right. And he contrasts that with examples of successful individuals who prioritize their well-being.
Yeah.
Demonstrating that success isn't about sacrificing everything else.
Right, like those CEOs who make time for family and exercise.
Yeah, they're not just grinding 24/7.
Exactly. And then there's the amazing story of Jaime Escalante.
Oh, yeah, the teacher.
The teacher who transformed the lives of these underprivileged students just by believing in them.
When nobody else did.
When nobody else did. And that's so powerful, right?
Yeah, it's a great story.
Because it shows that our expectations can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Impacting not just ourselves, but also those around us.
And that brings us to another crucial point, unlocking your potential.
Oh, yes.
This is where Ziglar gets really exciting.
I love this part.
He argues that everyone already possesses the qualities they need to succeed. They just need to recognize and develop them.
It's like he's saying, hey, you've got $1 million worth of talent inside. You start investing it.
I love that analogy.
It's so true, right?
Yeah, we often underestimate our own abilities.
We focus on what we lack instead of what we have.
Yeah. We're always comparing ourselves to others.
Right. And he's like, no, look at what you've got.
You have so much to offer.
You're amazing.
Exactly. And he encourages us to shift our perspective and start seeing ourselves as capable and worthy of success.
I love that.
It's a mindset shift.
It is. And it's not always easy.
No.
But it's so important.
Absolutely. And he doesn't shy away from the fact that developing your potential takes work.
Right. It's not just going to magically happen.
No, you got to put in the effort.
You got to do the work.
And he even shares a personal anecdote about how he used to speak for free early in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get experience, just to hone his craft.
And that's such a great example of his philosophy, right?
Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you can learn to do it well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He understood that mastery comes from practice.
Right.
From embracing the learning process, even if it means starting small.
And making mistakes along the way.
Yeah, because we're not going to be perfect at everything right away.
Nope.
But we can get better over time.
With practice and persistence.
Absolutely. And that's something we can all apply to our own lives, right?
Right.
Whether it's learning a new skill, starting a business, pursuing a passion.
We got to be willing to put in the time and effort.
Yeah, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
Absolutely. And Ziglar reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success.
Right.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone.
It's an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger.
Yeah, I love that perspective.
Yeah, it's all about growth.
It is.
And he also talks about the importance of seeking guidance from mentors.
Oh, yeah, people who have already achieved what you're striving for.
Right. They've been there. They've done that. They can offer valuable insights.
And he outlines 7 qualities of a good mentor, emphasizing the need for strong character, a proven track record, and the ability to celebrate other successes.
Yeah, you want someone who's going to lift you up.
Right, not tear you down.
Exactly. And it's about surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who challenge you to grow.
Yeah, who provide support and encouragement along the way.
Ziglar believed that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know?
Right. Learn from those who've gone before you.
Exactly.
And sometimes that learning involves doing things for free.
Yeah, just like you and Ziglar did with speaking early on.
Exactly.
It's about being willing to invest in yourself to gain experience.
Yeah, to build your skills even if there's no immediate financial reward.
Because ultimately, the most valuable rewards are often intangible. The sense of accomplishment, the personal growth, the impact you make on others.
Those are the things that really matter.
Yeah, those are the things that make life worth living.
And that leads us to another important aspect of Ziglar's philosophy, the importance of helping others.
Oh, yeah, he was big on that.
He believed that you can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want.
Now, that might sound a bit idealistic,
right?
But there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah.
When you focus on providing value to others, on making a positive difference in the world, you create a ripple effect that often comes back to you in unexpected ways.
It's not about expecting something in return, though, right?
No, it's about operating from a place of genuine service and contribution.
Exactly. And Ziglar believed this principle applied to all areas of life: personal relationships, professional endeavors, community involvement.
It's a way of life.
It is.
Yeah.
And he also emphasized the importance of happiness.
Yeah, but not just fleeting pleasure. He distinguished between happiness as a lasting state of well-being and pleasure as a temporary sensation.
Yeah, he uses that funny example of his love for ice cream.
Oh, yeah, he could eat it all day long, but it wouldn't necessarily make him truly happy.
It's about making choices that align with your values. Choices that contribute to your overall sense of fulfillment and purpose, not just instant gratification.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial aspect, family.
Yeah, Ziglar was a firm believer in the importance of nurturing strong family relationships.
Absolutely. He shared some pretty startling statistics about how marital problems can actually have a bigger negative impact on work productivity than alcohol or drugs.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is.
But it also makes sense, right?
Yeah, when your home life is in turmoil, it's hard to focus on anything else.
Exactly. And Ziglar encouraged us to strive for balance, to create a life where we feel happy, healthy, prosperous, secure, and fulfilled in all areas.
And he reminded us that it's okay to not have all the answers, to not be perfect.
Right, we're all human.
We're all a work in progress.
He emphasized that failure is an event, not a person.
Yes.
We all make mistakes, but it's how we learn from those mistakes and keep moving forward that matters most.
And that's where the power of positive thinking comes in again.
Yes. Ziglar believed that our thoughts shape our reality.
Right.
And that by focusing on the positive, on what we can control, we set ourselves up for success.
He talked about the importance of continuous learning, of seeing challenges as opportunities for growth.
Yeah, he was all about that growth mindset.
And he encouraged us to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, to appreciate what we have while still striving for more.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot between ambition and contentment.
Between pushing ourselves to achieve our goals and savoring the journey along the way.
And he reminded us that we already possess the qualities we need to succeed.
We might not be utilizing them to their fullest potential, but they're there waiting to be discovered and developed.
It's like having a hidden talent that you never knew you had.
And once you become aware of it, you can start honing it, practicing it, sharing it with the world.
And sometimes those talents might seem small or insignificant at first.
Right.
But Ziglar emphasized that even small acts of kindness, of service, of generosity can have a profound impact on others.
It's like the butterfly effect. Even the smallest action can create a ripple effect that spreads far and wide.
And those ripples can ultimately lead to a more fulfilling and meaningful life, not just for ourselves, but for those around us.
Absolutely.
And you know what I find so inspiring about Ziglar is that he doesn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk.
He lived his principles, and his success is a testament to their power.
He wasn't just a motivational speaker. He was a living example of what's possible when you combine a positive mindset with consistent action and a commitment to personal growth.
He truly believed that we are all born to win.
And that brings us back to that central question: what does winning mean to you?
What are your goals, your dreams, your aspirations?
And what steps can you take today to start moving toward them?
Because remember, you have the potential within you to achieve incredible things you were born to win. Now, go out there and claim your victory.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
But Ziglar reminds us that true success is about becoming the best version of ourselves.
Right, not someone else.
Not trying to be somebody we're not.
Exactly.
And he gives us a framework,
Yeah.
A set of tools and strategies to help us do just that.
Yeah, it's like he's giving us a map and a compass to navigate the journey of life.
I love that analogy.
This is a good one.
Yeah, because life can feel like a jungle sometimes,
Oh, absolutely.
You're just kind of wandering around lost and confused.
And Ziglar's like, here's the path.
Here's how to find your way.
Follow me.
Yeah. And he's that encouraging voice we all need sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Reminding us that we have the potential to achieve amazing things.
And then showing us how to actually make those things happen.
Yes, exactly. Not just like, rah, you can do it, but like, here are the steps.
Here's the plan.
Here's the plan.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
And he does it all with a healthy dose of humor and real-world examples, making his message both relatable and incredibly inspiring.
He was such a great storyteller.
He was.
One of the biggest takeaways for me is that we don't have to wait for success to fall into our laps. We can create it step by step, choice by choice.
Starting right now.
And those choices, as Ziglar emphasizes, they begin with our mindset.
Absolutely.
Our beliefs about ourselves and what's possible.
They have a profound impact on our actions and ultimately our outcomes.
Yeah, if we believe we can do something, we're much more likely to actually do it.
And if we believe we can't,
then we've already defeated ourselves.
Exactly. And Ziglar encourages us to expect the best, to visualize our success, and then to act in alignment with those expectations.
I love that.
It's powerful.
It is, but he's also realistic, right?
Yeah.
He acknowledges that there will be setbacks and challenges along the way.
Life's not always a smooth ride.
Definitely not. And that's where his emphasis on perseverance comes in, right?
Right. You got to keep going even when things get tough.
He reminds us that the journey won't always be easy, but it's in those moments of difficulty that we have the opportunity to learn, grow, and become even stronger.
To build resilience.
Yeah, to develop that grit.
That inner strength.
Exactly. And he often said that failure is an event, not a person.
I love that quote.
So good.
We all make mistakes, but it's how we respond to those mistakes that defines us.
Do we give up? Or do we learn from them and keep moving forward?
That's the question.
And that's where the power of positive thinking, of choosing to focus on what we can control, becomes so crucial.
Right. It's not about denying the challenges, but about approaching them with a solution-oriented mindset.
Believing that we can overcome them.
We got this.
We got this. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ziglar's Born to Win.
A classic.
We want to leave you with this thought.
What does winning truly mean to you?
What are those goals, dreams, and aspirations that light you up inside?
And what is one small step you can take today to start bringing those dreams to life?
Remember, you have the potential within you to achieve incredible things.
You were born to win.
Now go out there and claim your victory.